everyone, gird your loins. Did someone eat an onion bagel?
Oh my God. No, no, no! What's wrong?
I am Andy Socks, and I am suffering every day from the devil's boss. I was a top graduate from an Ivy League school with dreams of becoming a journalist, but even an impressive resume wasn't enough in New York. After countless applications went unanswered, I only received a response from one renowned fashion magazine, inviting me to interview for the position of the editor-in-chief's assistant. I had never read fashion magazines, nor was I interested in clothing. But to survive, I went anyway, completely unprepared, wearing whatever comfortable clothes I grabbed and handed over my resume. With nervous anticipation, I didn't receive a single response. I knew the interview had likely failed, but before leaving, I wanted to make one last effort. I don't fit in here. I am not skinny or glamorous, and I don't know that much about fashion, but I learn fast and I will work very hard.
I've got the exclusive on the Cavalli for Gwyneth, but the problem is with that huge...
Still no reply. I turned and walked away, but as I reached the bottom floor, Emily, the first assistant, called out to me. Somehow, inexplicably, I had landed the job. That evening, I celebrated with friends. Those familiar with fashion warned me about how tough the job would be, but I paid no attention at the time. I just saw it as a temporary gig. But the next day, I realized how foolish that thought was.
You need to come into the office
Before I could even wake up properly, my phone rang.
Now?
Now get a pen, write this down.
I bought coffee and sprinted the whole way, but still arrived after the
There's some
boss.
reason that my coffee isn't here? Has she died or something?
Unsurprisingly, I got scolded. Emily gave me a rundown of the job. As the second assistant, my tasks seemed simple, but were actually just menial chores with
One-time assistant
extremely
left the desk
strict
because
requirements.
she just sliced her hand open with a letter opener. And Miranda missed Lagerfeld. She now works at TV Guide.
Man the desk at all times, got it. Miranda didn't care that it was my first day. She gave me no time to adjust and immediately dumped a pile of work on me. On my very first day, I ran around like a headless chicken while plenty of coworkers mocked my outfit.
And Emily?
Yes?
That's all.
A phone call robbed me of my lunch break. I was dragged into an impromptu styling meeting where I watched them agonize over two nearly identical belts and could help
They're
but
so
laugh.
different.
Something funny?
I felt awkward, completely unaware that I had already angered Miranda. I didn't understand fashion. To me, it was utterly unnecessary for ordinary people. Miranda's condescending attitude only fueled my frustration.
And it's sort of comical how you think that you've made a choice that exempts you from the fashion industry when in fact you're wearing a sweater that was selected for you by the people in this room from a pile of stuff.
Still, I threw myself into every trivial task. Car repairs, walking the dog, picking up clothes, with total dedication. Slowly, day after day, I started getting the hang of the job.
Where is everyone? Why is no one working? I like the east side.
When Miranda left town for the weekend, I finally got a rare break to host my dad, who had come all the way to visit me. But the moment we met, he handed me a stack of cash. Turns out, he knew my job might look respectable, but my salary could even cover rent. I promised Dad things would get better until a phone call interrupted our meal.
Good chance. This is my boss.
She demanded I find her plane back to New York. I tried everything, but in the end, I just couldn't make it happen.
Oh my God, she's going to murder me.
What does she want you to do? Call the National Guard and have her airlifted out of there?
Of course not. Could I do that?
The next day, I apologized sincerely to Miranda, but she didn't accept it. She simply said in a flat tone that she thought I was different. I no longer had the energy to argue. This job was already suffocating me. I fled the oppressive office and vented to my colleague Nigel. I complained about the unreasonable demands and lack of respect, but Nigel acted like it was completely normal and even advised me to quit.
Andy, be serious. You are not trying. You are whining. Wake up, Six. She's just doing her job.
Nigel's words left me deep in thought, and I decided to reinvent myself, starting from scratch. With Nigel-Air help, I began learning how to do makeup and dress the part
We have to get to
in
the beauty
office.
department, and God knows how long that's going to take.
Emily was gossiping with a coworker about my outfit until the next second when I walked through the door. I could see she was visibly stunned because today I looked like a completely
Are
different
you wearing
person.
the Chanel boots?
Yeah, I am.
You look good.
From that moment on, I fully embraced my transformation. I grew more confident in both my style and my work. Keen Miranda gaze lingered on me longer than usual. But what I didn't realize was that the change wasn't just superficial. One day, while having dinner with friends, I handed out some company perks as gifts and chatted with them until my phone rang again. A friend made an ill-timed joke about me being on call after hours. My nerves were already frayed, and this time, I snapped at them. I found myself defending Miranda. Her sudden demands no longer felt unreasonable to me.
Didn't have to be such assholes.
I even learned to read her moods, channeling all my focus onto Miranda,
Did she say
deciphering
why?
every subtle shift in her
Yes.
expression.
Yeah, she explained every detail of her decision-making.
This time, Miranda assigned me an important task, to deliver the magazine's sample book to her home. When I took the keys from Emily, I felt inexplicably excited. That night, I arrived at Miranda's house, but the moment I stepped inside, I was stunned. I had no idea where to put the items. It wasn't until Miranda's twin daughters pointed me upstairs that I finally had a direction, naively. I believed them, only to overhear Miranda arguing with her husband.
I told you that the cell phones didn't work. Nobody could get a signal out.
I wanted to leave as quickly as possible, but it was too late. I knew I had crossed a line with my boss the next day. I intended to apologize, but Miranda acted as if nothing had happened and assigned me a new task instead.
And you can do anything, right?
I knew this wasn't just work, was retaliation, yet I couldn't refuse. I started making desperate calls for help, but no one was willing to fulfill such an unreasonable request. I suddenly remembered that writer I had met once, and unexpectedly, he became my saving grace this time. I executed everything flawlessly, leaving Miranda with no room for criticism.
One copy. What are my twins gonna do with that?
Oh no, I made 2 copies. And had them covered, reset, and bound so that they wouldn't look like manuscripts. This is an extra copy to have in the file. You know, just in case.
A few days later, on my way home from work, I was urgently called back to the office. Emily had come down with a severe cold, so I was temporarily assigned to assist at a charity gala hosted by Miranda.
I have to learn all these
Before
by
the event,
tonight.
I had to memorize
City,
every guest's
Andrea, these
name.
two.
Crew happened to be my strong suit. That night at the gala, I helped Emily out of a tight spot after the event. I rushed home as fast as I could, and it was my boyfriend's birthday. But I was too late, and this time, he was truly disappointed.
Can we at least talk about this?
You look really pretty.
The next day, I went to deliver the sample book to Miranda as usual. I planned to drop it off and leave, but Miranda called out to me from inside. I wanted to refuse. Emily had once told me this was her dream, but Miranda wouldn't allow it. She even made me break the
Miranda,
news to Emily personally.
Emily would die.
With trembling hands, I dialed the number. Emily was out working at the time, but before I could even say anything, she got into a car accident. Now, she definitely could go to Paris. By her hospital bed, I still told her the news. Unsurprisingly, she was furious.
Emily,
I said go!
Back home, I felt uneasy when my boyfriend found out I was going to Paris and casually mentioned Emily. All my pent-up frustration erupted.
Andy, what the
We
hell
got
is-
into a heated argument.
Didn't
In a
have
fit
a
of
choice,
anger,
okay?
I suggested
Miranda
we take a
asked me
break.
and I couldn't say no.
I know, that's your answer for everything lately. I didn't have a choice. Like this job was forced on you. Like you don't make these decisions yourself.
With that protest, he turned and left. Just then, Miranda call came through again, and so I set off
Hello,
for Paris,
Miranda.
following Miranda through fashion shows and flashing cameras at celebrity interviews. But afterward, I saw another side of her vulnerable woman. She asked me to replace her husband Dean's seat at the gala. She was getting divorced again. When I walked in, Nigel complimented my outfit and casually mentioned some good news. Miranda had offered him a
You're
promotion.
leaving. I can't imagine Runway without you.
I'm so excited though! For the first time in 18 years, I'm going to be able to call the shots in my own life. Oh my god!
The next morning, I unexpectedly learned that the company's owner planned to replace Miranda with her arch rival. Rushing to the venue, I finally found Miranda before the gala and delivered the news surprisingly. Miranda remained calm this time, too. When the gala began, she took the stage and announced a collaboration with the designer, which meant Nigel's decade-long wait for a promotion had just vanished. On the way back, I stayed silent, but for the first time, Miranda explained her actions to me. It turned out that before the gala, she had already met with the owner and struck a deal. She even thanked me for my concern and the warning, inviting me to officially join her team when we arrived at our stop. Miranda stepped out of the car with a smile. I made my choice. I walked toward the distant square, leaving my ringing phone behind in Paris. I returned to New York to pursue my original dream, applying for a job at a newspaper. The interviewer praised my writing but seemed curious about my previous job.
Saying that of all the assistants she's ever had, you were by far her biggest disappointment. And if I don't hire you, I am an idiot.
After leaving, I strolled through New York streets once more and called Emily, giving her all the clothes I had acquired in Paris. Outside the company building, I happened to run into Miranda. She saw me too. Miranda was as cold as ever, unbeknownst to me. After I turned away, she stole one last glance in my direction. I don't know if my path is the right one, but before choosing whether to become the devil, I wanted to first reclaim the right to choose to remain human.